So have you been this Andrew Tate back in the day of French people, French guys?
You know, I was...
Probably some people might say, but it's how to start. I'm not that talented. I'm not that, bold or courageous. What would you advise? How would you advise people who are intending to change their life and invent themselves? What would you say to them?
So I think when it comes to creativity or anything you want to do, people tend to fall into the trap of perfection. They think that the first thing they ever gonna do, it has to be perfect. I mean, when I read this book that I wrote, I'm a little ashamed.
Okay.
Because it's a mess. There's almost no structure. It's a cool book because it has like stories about my life in Warsaw and everything, and how I was meeting women, etc., etc. But I think again we will go back to your observation, which is having massive balls. Can you imagine a guy who's 21 and he's like writing to women or for women, telling them how to meet a man? I had no fucking clue what women wanted at that time.
No, but it's not about if you knew or you didn't know. It's about you trying. Absolutely. It's, like step by step, baby steps, just, the little to little. And then at the end of the day, you wrote your own book by the age of 21. This is major. You were so self-confident. And it was also a drive for future successes, right?
Absolutely, because that for me, this resilience that I built, and also because people, the main problem we have, across all the history of time, to be honest, is the fear of rejection, because now all what you have to do is to take action, act on your desires. Because now, for example, and this goes to my teaching to guys, and I have this theory, for example, you will never meet the woman of your dreams on social media, ever. Maybe
not
some
on Tinder.
maybe some did, but this is my personal theory. And if you want to be with a woman, you have to actually go and approach her. You need to feel this fear inside you that you might be rejected. And she, on the other hand, needs to see that you are an actual man and you are not afraid to come and talk to her. The best relationship I had with girls are the ones that I approached. And I call it a cold approach. And the one that failed are always the ones I met through Instagram. And that's also, a completely different topic. We can talk about it maybe some other day. But this is, again, my observation. And social media made people lazy. They think everything is accessible. You can swipe left, right, can order some food, and it just makes you this passive, lazy person, and you just expect that everything gonna fall into your hand. It doesn't work like this. So that was my whole approach in coaching, is just fucking do it approach. Funny thing, in my book, I was telling the women to do the same. I was telling them, look, if you see a man, just approach him. Just go talk to him. The best tip I could give a woman if she likes a man is just ask for his help. Ask for his advice. Like, hey, I have this phone. I don't know how to not close this app, because you wouldn't. Just invent something stupid. And the man will feel that he's his
like
saver.
Pretend to be so vulnerable.
No, it doesn't have to be that
okay.
that's glamorous, but legitimately ask for help. Like, your laptop is not working. It's like, hey, my laptop, I feel like he's slow these days. Can you please check what's going on? Okay. I was like, of course. Hey, the hero is here to save the day. You tricked him. It's not tricked, but actually, yes. So I remember this when I was in Starbucks, or I don't know, the cafe. So there was this lady behind me, and she tapped my back, and she said, look, I'm feeling crazy today. Whatever you're ordering, I am going to order it. And I found that approach unbelievably efficient and amazing. I said, wow. I said, what if I'm, I was joking around. I don't remember what I said, but we were flirting, because I knew she was flirting. I was flirting. And we ended up in a relationship that lasted, I think, a year or so.
So after the success of your first book, have you felt more encouraged to do more, to make it more?
Yeah.
Because you were so influential at some point, and men were really following you. They were like your believers. And what kind of Kamal Jahid was it back then?
So I think, so first of all, when I wrote the first book and the second, I were very successful. I made the most money that I could ever dream of, or even it was insanity.
How much?
I can't tell, but it was a lot. And I was like, wow, I made it. And so I started hiring people, writers, editors, and the team was growing. I think at some point we were like 6 writers. And I just became let's say an editor-chief. So I was not writing anymore. And we were basically releasing, I mean, not me, I wrote, I think, 7 books, but we were releasing trainings, master classes, we were doing seminars. It was a serious business, but I was slowly being disconnected from who I was and who I am. Because at some point, because I grow so much that I've become, all this, fancy parties and invites and all these things. So people, my students, they couldn't connect with me anymore because they're like, well, look at this guy. He's just rich. He has this amazing suits. He's going, business class. And, so I think I fall in the trap, not of showing off, but just kind of selling the dream. Because I'm a marketer by profession, by heart. I studied marketing, and I think I wouldn't say I was doing it too much to flaunt or to show that I'm wealthy or anything. I'm not. I'm broke actually now. We need a sponsor for this show.
You can donate us every day.
I'm broke now. I don't have that money anymore. And I think that's when I started to disconnect. And then I remember we made the biggest mistake in history, which when we had the radical feminists attack us. They attacked the blog because it was my mistake, and I kind of, let's say, wanted to play with the fire. So a guy wrote this article it was a sex article about how to, I don't know if we can say it, we're going to be censored, how to hard a girl. Oh. And but it was the headline was not misleading, but it was like a spicy headline just to get people to click. But the actual article was not bad. It was like, you have to have this kind of respect. She needs to agree, all these things. It was like, but the headline was bad. It was like really pushy and, a little bit degrading. Yeah. And this is when I understood that the world of internet, people don't read the article. They just read the headline and then they judge you. And so we now have this army of, I call them radical feminists because they were radical feminists. They see this brown guy teaching French guys or French women, giving them advice, and there's like, no, this guy cannot be doing this because like the website grows so big. We had 1 million visitors a month with no ad, nothing, organic, which is by today's terms is insane.
So have you been this Andrew Tate back in the day of French people, French guys?
I was a much better version of Andrew Tate because I was respectful.
But you were earning money on teaching guys how to talk or hit to women, and then you had this very controversial article about how to make women to be submissive, and it sounds like you were really playing with the fire.
This was 2013, okay? So the world was a different place than today. So people were a little bit less, triggery. So, but that time, this was the first, actually, the Me Too movement was, breaking out and everything. And, Andrew Tate is here, I'm here, completely here. Because I think I have class and grace. And I don't disrespect women. I love women. And I never talk bad at them or to them. And it's just completely different worlds. And I think that's why my style resonated with guys who became, my clients and students, because they see that the approach is respectful and doable. You can't just treat women like shit and expect that you can. It might work on some, the toxic ones, it does work on them. I'm not gonna lie. If you want a toxic woman, good luck, have fun. Treat her like shit, she will want you. But that's not the woman we want. That's not who I am, and that's not what my students want them to be. So, in an influential level, I think, yes, it was somehow
connected to Andrew Tate.
No, it was not connected to Andrew Tate, but in a similar style. I was doing this. It was actually a whole community. It was a lot of guys doing it, not only me. But I was the only one that I was actually doing it for women as well, which made me, it's like it was our unique selling point, our USP. And because people would come, especially after the controversy with the bad article, people, when they came, again, that month we made so much money that we could count, because people, when they were reading the article, they're like, well, actually, this is a good article. I mean, good website. And they were buying the books, the coaching and everything. So again, blessing in disguise. This feminist attack on us or on me was the biggest blessing in my life.